Body signals that appear before a trigger actually happens. Have you ever been triggered? Likely you've said yes, because most people have felt that reaction of being triggered and then spiraling. And here's the thing, most people believe emotional triggers happen suddenly, but in reality, the body often sends signals before the reaction even appears. The signals are subtle, and the signals most people were never taught to notice. Once you begin recognizing these signals, then triggers start making much more sense. Many emotional reactions feel like they happen instantly. One moment, everything feels normal, and then suddenly a strong reaction appears. Maybe it's anger, maybe shutdown, maybe feeling overwhelmed. And because of this, many people believe that the trigger comes out of nowhere. But something interesting often happens before the reaction appears. The body usually sends the signal first, small signals, signals that are easy to miss if we're not paying attention. For example, you might notice your chest tightening just a little bit, or your breathing becoming shallow, or your stomach might drop, or your shoulders might tense. Sometimes your attention narrows and you become more focused on the conversation. Sometimes you may feel a little nausea or something in your stomach. And these signals are the nervous system's beginning to activate. They're early signs that emotional pressure is increasing. But because these signals happen quickly, most people only notice the final reaction. They notice the anger or the shutdown or the overwhelm or the panic or the gut feeling. And they assume that the reaction happened suddenly. But once people start noticing these early body signals, something important changes. They realize the reaction actually began earlier than they thought previously. And when you see the beginning of a reaction, you suddenly have more options. Instead of reacting automatically, you can pause, you can take a breath, you can support your nervous system before the reaction escalates. This doesn't eliminate emotional triggers entirely, but it creates something very valuable. It creates space, space between the signal and the reaction. And over time, that space becomes much easier to access. People begin noticing their body signals sooner. And as that awareness grows, emotional reactions become easier to navigate. This is one of the key ways nervous system capacity develops, not by eliminating triggers, but by recognizing them sooner and responding before the reaction fully takes over. In the next video, I'm going to share the first signal that shows you when your nervous system is about to shut down. Because often there's a movement when the body begins preparing, and that's what we'll be exploring. If today's teaching resonated with you, I've created a free training called Why You Lose Access to Yourself in Relationships. And inside, I go much deeper into why self-aware women especially lose access to themselves when emotional pressure rises, and what happens to help them stay connected when it matters the most, when you're around the people you love. You'll also receive a companion workbook that helps you recognize your own protection patterns, and then you can begin applying what you're learning. So you can access the free training using the link below. And if this video is helpful, I would love to hear from you. Which protection pattern do you recognize in yourself the most? And what signal are you noticing before the full reaction takes place if you slow it down? If you want to better understand why you lose access to yourself in relationships and learn how to stay connected when it does matter, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.